happy Monday. I thought today we would talk about perception versus reality. And is perception as important as reality? And if it is, how you can leverage that correctly in your business in like an ethical way. So let's get into it. So the more that I see this in the world, the more it got me thinking, which is why I thought we'd talk about it today. A lot of times I will see a post or a video on TikTok that already has a lot of likes, comments, shares. It's already gone viral, right? And I might start to read the post and not be interested, or start to watch the video and not be interested, but something in my brain says, if 50,000 other people liked it, maybe there's something of quality here. I should stay, I should keep reading, I should keep watching, because there's a reason that this many people must have been interested. And most of the time I get to the end and it's just not relevant to me. It's actually not that interesting. And then I start to wonder, why did this post or video or whatever get so much engagement? And at the end of the day, I think it's obviously a couple of factors. Some of it is that it happened to land right with a few people early on. It hit the right target market very early because the algorithm, and then as it grew in virality and spread, it went outside its target market. But again, people like me said, must be interesting if so many people already liked it. A lot of times people will hit the like before they even watch the entire thing. So it's just kind of growing that way. Or if you're over on Facebook or Instagram, a lot of times if you know that person, you might like their content just to be supportive, even if it's not very good content. And so this kind of led me to start thinking about this perception versus actual reality. Because especially in the coaching space, a lot of times we will see someone that has a big following that frequently posts about their success. And I see this more with people that post about their own success than people that post about the success of their clients, the results they're getting for others, right? Someone that's always like, ooh, I just did a webinar and did $100,000 in sales. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations, for real. Like, that's fantastic. But where's the results from those people you just took $100,000 from? And I get that that might come over time. What I have started to see in this space especially is that people will kind of do this fake it till they make it thing, right? So they will talk about their success, or they will use the success of someone else and kind of claim it as their own for a while. Oh yes, I'm doing this well. I've helped so many entrepreneurs do X, Y, and Z. And they keep talking about it, keep talking about it, keep talking about it, all that success that never has happened for them yet, until they get enough people to believe that they have had that level of success. Those people buy into their program, and then they're able to start using the sales of that program as the thing that then says, hey, I'm really good at what I do. Right? And the truth is, you're actually just a really good bullshitter. You're probably not actually very good at the thing that you're trying to coach. And this ends up happening a lot. And this is where I see a lot of people that as a community have maybe grown within the community, have seemed to have success, have connected with the right people, have been sponsored or boosted up by some really other like well-known people in the community. And so we start to think that they probably know what they're talking about. They're probably really good at it. They must be really successful. And then all of a sudden, there's people that are not getting results from them. And you start to wonder, if you've joined their program and you're not getting results, the first thought is, it must be me. If this person is constantly talking about all the success they have with everyone else, and I'm not having success, it must be me. And it might be, right? There's a million different reasons why. And sometimes as a coach, we also have to accept that, like, if this is very hard for me, I want every single person I work with to have an incredible success story. That is honestly my goal. And I think most of you here know that I will go above and beyond as much as I possibly can to help you achieve that. Because I truly do want you to have success. I am not just here to sell you a program. I want everyone here to thrive. I think we all do better when we are having more success as a community. There is no competition in that sense for me. And so for me, I'm so driven to have success that a lot of times when somebody's not having success, I actually internalize it. I take it on. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? How can I change? How can I help this person more? They're not having success. And recently I had a challenge where I had worked with a small select group of people on a program, and the ones that showed up every week, that put in the effort and did the work, lo and behold, they had really good results. And then there were people that didn't show up. They didn't come, they came late, they left early, they didn't do any of the like homework, and lo and behold, they didn't get results. Yet somehow my brain said, you're accountable for that. You didn't get them results, you sold them a program, why didn't they get results? And obviously it's important to understand that that is not my fault. If you don't show up, if you don't do the work, I can't possibly get a result for someone. But what I'm saying is the opposite here. The way that I think is like, ooh, how could I have been better? How could I have helped them show up more? How could I have helped them be more committed to this thing, right? The opposite is true for people that put out this perception that they're really great and then they're actually not. They automatically will think, oh, if you didn't have success, it's you. There's nothing that I could have done differently. It was you, it was you, it was you. And they're not thinking about how could I have changed? How could I have adapted? And I think you have to find this middle ground because perception is reality. If we see someone constantly talking about how successful they are, how their business is doing 6 figures a month, we expect them to have a lifestyle that represents that. And so if their lifestyle does not represent what they're talking about publicly, then you start to wonder, is that person just really frugal, which is a great quality? Don't get me wrong. You should not be, trying to drive fancy cars and live in a fancy house just because of the perception that it would create, right? So you might think, is this person frugal? But more often than not, a lot of people start to doubt, are these results real if they don't have the extravagant lifestyle to go along with what they're saying? And now the opposite is also true, right? You have people that will overspend, will buy the designer handbags, will use a fancy Zoom background and try to pretend it's their actual house, right? They're pretending that they have the fancy cars and all of that, and they keep putting that out there until people start to believe that they must be successful because they have these things. For me personally, I am just not a big fan of Tai Lopez. I don't know that much about him on a personal level. I have watched some of his content and it just doesn't resonate with me. He doesn't resonate with me. That doesn't make him a bad person or bad at what he does, because I can't say that. I don't know him well enough. But one thing I do know is that over the years I have watched, and I don't know how successful he was when he first started showing off his fancy home and his fancy cars and his all of his stuff. I don't know that he had the clout to back that up, or maybe he did, right? There's no way for me to know that because I just don't know him that well. What I do know is my very first introduction to him, even in early, 2010, right? A long time ago, was all of this showboating. And for me, that's a huge turn off. Do I think that you should have results and success and the things around you to speak to that? Yes, I do. But I didn't like the showboating. And so for me, that was a turn off. But for a lot of people, he gained a lot of followers by doing that. I see people post pictures in front of private jets, take pictures in front of fancy cars, whether or not they own them, right? Sometimes people rent them out to do this. And it is simply because a lot of times perception becomes reality. If we allow people to perceive us as successful, they will believe that we are successful and be more likely to purchase our programs. So how do we do this in a more ethical way? How do we make sure that we are using this perception is reality in a way that is not false? I do not believe in false advertising. I don't think that I should fake it till I make it. I don't think that's the way to go about it. But if that's true, how do you get there if you're just starting out? How do you get the testimonials? How do you show people that you know what you're talking about? What if you do kind of live in a trailer right now and you don't have a lot of money, but you're building your business and you are successful? Let's say your business is growing, but you haven't put that money back into your home, into your clothes, into your lifestyle because you're busy building your business. So how do we change that negative perception that a lot of times can come with not living the extravagant lifestyle into the reality that you're still successful, that you still know what you're doing and you still know what you're talking about? And one of the best ways to do this if you're just starting out is to, and I don't suggest free. I think free has a lot of lazy connotation with it. Somebody that gets something for free usually won't do the work, but at a very, very affordable price, see who you can work with to get them the results and be more results driven. How can I help this person? Take it as a learning opportunity. If that person isn't having as much success as you thought they might, maybe try to understand why. Work with as many people as possible early on to get as much results as possible. And then start talking about the results you're getting for people, even as they're just starting to get them. It's okay if they haven't had massive home runs. You can talk about the little wins that they're having. You can talk about the struggles and the changes that you've gone through. And again, change that perception. So if you've started to have that success and you're building your business, you're putting that money back into your business, or not putting it into your lifestyle, which I think is super smart and really great, then talk about that. Yeah, guys, like embrace it. You're not going to see a fancy lifestyle with me, because instead I've actually been putting that money back in my business. And one of the things that I teach in my program, right? Leverage that. For a very long time, when I first started coaching on Stronger Mommy, which I haven't talked about in forever, helping parents with kids with special needs, the background behind me, like this is the first time in this home since I've been doing this for over 7 years that I've had an office. I have doors. That's nuts. I was in the loft of our house, and my desk, which still same desk today, came off Wayfair for like $200, okay? Behind me was my daughter's play space. It was a mess. And sometimes she would be behind me playing. Sometimes she would be throwing a tantrum. And here I was trying to coach people, trying to help them. And instead of trying to pretend that I had my life all together, that everything was great and beautiful, and I'm on the other side of this parenting challenge, and I can teach you everything there is to know because look at what an amazing life I have and my perfect little angel of a child. No, instead, I embraced it as a relatable quality, as yeah, I'm still learning. Here's the challenges we're going through, but as I go through them, here's the things that I'm doing to adapt, to change from that thing. And it ended up working out even better for me. I was more relatable than somebody who seemed like they were just preaching from the top of the hill. And so if you are getting started, or if you are maybe changing up your business a little bit, you're driving into something else and you're thinking, well, how do I start from scratch and how do I get people to believe me? It's a lot easier actually to relate to and believe someone that is just a few steps ahead of you than it is to someone that is a mountain ahead of you. As much as I love working with and learning from the people that are speaking on stages to 500,000 people, the people that have been on TV shows and public life and all this kind of stuff, yeah, sure, they must be qualified, right? If they've gotten all this stuff. It also sometimes feels like, well, they can't possibly understand what I'm going through, because even if they went through it, it was so long ago, do they remember the struggles that I'm having? But someone's just a couple chapters ahead of me, just a little bit more successful. They know what I went through. They know what I'm going through now, and they're much more likely to be able to relate and help me. It's fresher in their mind. It's closer to who they are now. And so as you start to kind of go out on your journey, either growing your business or again, changing, starting a new one. I know a lot of us had a lot of change with COVID and have decided to dive into something new. I really hope that you think, what is the perception that I'm putting out there, and how can I change the reality that people are seeing, and how can I embrace my current reality instead of the fake it till you make it, which is definitely not my favorite way to go. So as always, if you have questions or comments, drop them below. I would love to chat about it. But this is something that was by far top of mind for me this week. And so that's definitely never the perception that I want to put out there, of course. And I think it's just so important to be really conscious of that and to think, what is the truth behind what I'm doing? How can I be genuine? Especially today when I think most people are not genuine. So that's what I was talking about today. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Monday. I know it's just getting started, and a good start to your week. Have an amazing week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.